Yes, I'm Colleen. Hi. Nice to meet you.
So before we start the program, Colleen, I wanted to give you a check. This is from our, we're called Lansdale. This is Shiloh-MacCalla Live. We're called Lansdale. We have a donation for $301. Because number 301.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate so much for doing this. Take the show away.
You tell him.
And many other aspects, as well as fostering. Hal has been around for a little over 15 years. We are 100% volunteer foster base, and we have up to date, not counting this year yet, because we calculated this year's numbers, saved about 23,000 dogs.
Wow.
At any given time, we have about 100 to 130 dogs in volunteer foster homes. We're spread out around Montgomery, Bucks, Philadelphia. We even have a few sprinkling in Delaware and Jersey fosters. So we have a pretty large network, about 100 fosters at any given time. And all of our fosters pick what dogs they want to foster, what works for their lifestyle, and we have different aspects. So some people permanent foster, like here, and Christine over there with Shug, and some people, like Tara, hold dogs for our fosters at events, especially fosters like him who have multiple dogs and need help bringing these guys to our weekend events or taking them to meet and greet or adoption events or anywhere they need to go. And we have 10 fosters, so those fosters cover our dogs when we have a vacation or something going on where the permanent fosters need a temporary housing for their foster dogs. Otherwise, our fosters keep the dog from when they arrive all the way through their adoption, and they get to pick their adopter. These dogs live with our fosters, and the fosters know them the best, so they know what's going to fit for their dog. So it makes sense for us not to have a centralized adoption center. So each foster gets to pick their own adoption center. Our dogs come from a variety of places. We do very rural southern shelters, Georgia, South Carolina. We've occasionally done North Carolina. In those areas, there's very little adoption and there's very little rescue option. So the shelters get very, very overburdened, and they're almost all high-kill shelters. So they're putting dogs down left and right just because there's no space for the dogs. I think last year in this country, there was over 23,000 dogs euthanized just for space and nowhere for them to go alone. And then we also do puppy mills. So there's a lot of unregistered, illegal puppy mills, and they're just breeding dogs with no medical care, no DNA, no nothing for these dogs. A lot of inbreeding, and so we get those. We get the retired moms and dads when they're done using them, and we get puppies that they can't sell, didn't come out with the right color. Most times it's because of health issues, because they do very bad breeding. So there's a lot of heart issues, eye issues, orthopedic issues. And these dogs unfortunately come very shut down. They're not socialized, they're not treated well. Not that they're not nice, but they're not pets, they're not anything to them but making money. We also locally pool some dogs from Akron, Philadelphia, Montgomery County, SPCA, and occasionally owner surrenders or in the community that dogs that need somewhere to go that their owners can no longer keep them. We are very, very lucky. Our community has supported us for many, many years, and so we also take a lot of medical cases that other rescues can't take. We have great partner vets at Metropolitan Specialty Vet, Hickory Specialty Vet, Wissahickon, York, Steinbach. So we take a lot of heart conditions. We get dogs with amputations, missing eyes, ortho conditions. I personally like to do a lot of medical fosters, so I take a lot of torn ACLs, broken bones, hit by cars, that kind of thing. And we have a great orthopedic surgeon that does a lot of our surgeries over at Metropolitan for us. About every year, we're around 2,000 to 2,300 dogs saved. All of our dogs are fully vetted with us. They're all spayed and neutered except if it's a medical exception. Microchipped, up to date on their vaccines, given monthly preventatives, dewormed, and any dog that comes from out of state serves a 2-week quarantine just for disease control and population. All of our dogs were an all-breed rescue. So we have everything from little dogs to humongous dogs, puppies to seniors. We do hospice dogs, and everything in between. As you can see, these are all young guys. Shug is behaving very nice. Mr. Gentleman over there being quiet in the corner. And all of these dogs have come from our southern partners down in Georgia, right, Kim? I think all 3 of yours are from Georgia.
These 2 are Georgia and this South Carolina.
Where's yours from, John? Darlington, South Carolina. So all of these dogs were surrendered to high kill shelters and are all available for adoption with Home at Last. We've been also very fortunate to have a great social media team, so we have a large following. We're starting a new project because ever since COVID, getting fosters is a little bit harder for us, and getting people to commit long-term to dogs, because there's no guarantee when you pick a dog to foster, they could get adopted in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or be with you for several months. We are now opening, we rented space on a farm to have temporary housing for dogs in between foster homes. So a Home at Last dog is always a Home at Last dog. So if any of our adopters are unable to keep their dog, whether 2 weeks from adoption, 6 years from adoption, we always take our dogs back. Sometimes we don't always have an available foster home, so it makes it difficult in getting those dogs back in our care. And now we have a temporary housing space that we're working on that'll hopefully be ready in the next month or two that will temporarily house these dogs in a house-type setting so they don't lose that foster home environment and have to go into like a boarding situation. Because kennels and boardings do make the dogs shut down a lot. This is somewhere that has living rooms and a backyard and all the things that they would get in a normal home. Come here, Ash. Sit. Sit. Yeah, we don't know that? I know, we're
Yeah,
young.
he does.
Oh, he's just playing with me. So we are... Oh, you're showing off, buddy.
Good boy.
Oh, good job. So we are very, very fortunate in our community to be able to have such wonderful volunteers, absolutely wonderful community members, and people that support us year after year. Large fundraiser, which will be our 11th year doing it. We have a Halloween 5K and dog walk and fall fair in October. That is at Parkside Place in Sunnytown Pike. Last year was our biggest year. We were able to raise $55,000 last year at that event. And if any of you listen to 92.5, the country station, XTU, one of their morning DJs, Jeff Kirchin, who actually adopted from us, was our guest host for our event last year. It's a great time. It's dog friendly. We get to see tons of our adopted dogs come out, a lot of our HAL alum, and people run our 5K, do our dog walk, and we get vendors that come out, so we have a huge ball there. I think last year we had around 65 raffle baskets that were all donated and we put together.
I just need it. Thank you so much.
He's like, excuse me, I ran out. And things like this that you guys donated to us is what keeps us going, because we are completely dependent on fundraisers, donations, and adoption fees. We don't get government funding, we're nonprofit, so everything that we do relies on that. Last year we spent about $750,000 on medical bills alone for all of our dogs, between regular vetting and specialty cases that have come into our rescue. So this is very important, and the awareness of adopting versus buying. It is very overcrowded in this country, and as I said, there are so many dogs that aren't making it out because there's just nowhere for them to go. So if you're ever looking for a dog, I promise we get the breed, we get everything. Every little, every large, every specialty dog, and you get a lot of dogs you don't normally see in rescue. We get a lot of Labs and Bernese Mountain Dogs and Shih Tzus and Cavapoos and tons of doodles and all different kinds of dogs, and our southern shelters have amazing dogs and mixed dogs that really are just amazing dogs. So without you guys, our community, our volunteers, we would not be able to continue to do this, but we hope to be around for another 15 plus years and continue to save dogs here. Is there any questions that I can answer for you?
I went to your 5K. You had the cutest dog, and it still bothers me. It was like you had a dog in a little like radio flyer wagon or something, and you said this poor dog has been bred like so many times it can't even walk anymore, and that has just completely just has not left me.
Because they don't follow, the normal guidelines. They overbreed dogs. They breed them until they literally can't anymore. We get sometimes moms and dads, especially moms, at 8, 9, 10 years old. So that means they've been breeding them at minimum 20 litters plus.
That's crazy.
Which really the American Kennel Association says no more than 6 litters in a lifetime female dog. Obviously there's breed specifics. But we get a lot of dogs that have a lot of health issues because of that too. Because they're inbred, there's easy litters, there's all kinds of stuff, and unfortunately the conditions that the small dogs are in are usually cages. They don't get outside of the cages, they don't get exercise, they live permanently in a cage. I have a little Vernon Doodle right now, and she spins. Because that was the only way she got exercise, from living in the crate. So that's all she does now, she just spins. Bigger dogs are normally kept in a barn or tied to a tree, because they don't want them to go away from their puppies or be seen. So we've gotten dogs that have rickets, which is lack of vitamin D because they get no sunlight, bad muscle tone. I've had dogs that have had fractures and ripped tendons that were never repaired that have caused permanent damage in the dogs. So it's a lot of, if we obviously are a rescue, so we would rather you come and adopt, but if you are going to purchase, please do research and don't support breeders that are not reputable, licensed breeders, because it is just not helping these populations at all. Obviously, we would love for everyone to adopt a dog, whether it be from us, whether it be from your local shelter, from any other rescue. We just really want people to adopt versus buying and getting it. Because like I said, if you're looking for a certain dog, it's out there. Rescue or another rescue, it is out there. So, and I know some people struggle with going through the process, and we never want to make it hard for anyone, but we also want to make sure that our adopters and our dogs are set up for success. So we have no blanket restrictions. It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter if you rent or own, it doesn't matter if you have a fence. It is based on the dog's needs. So some dogs may need a fence, some dogs may not, some dogs are good on leash, some aren't. Some, maybe like a puppy wouldn't be good for someone who's older, but we have plenty of dogs. My little dog right now is going to a couple that is 78 and 79 years old. So we have no bias. We're just looking for the right fit for the adopters and the dogs, because we want everyone to be successful in their dog ownership and dog adoption.
Do you have a standard like adoption fee, or does it vary per dog?
We have 3 adoption fees. So any dog that is an adult, so any dog over 2 is $500. Any puppy that is 2 and under is $550. And then when we get very, very popular young dogs, they are called benefactors, so they have a $750 fee. And their extra adoption fee goes to help to pay one of our medical dogs' bills. So the dogs that have surgery and stuff rack up those extra bills, and that a little bit of additional adoption fee helps to offset some other dogs' adoption fee or medical bills.
Compare that fee to somebody who wants a designer dog. What are they paying for?
Thousands. And when you get them from a breeder, not only are you paying thousands, but they're generally not spayed or neutered, they're not microchipped, and they're only given basic vaccines. So there's still a lot of care that you then have to pay for and provide when you're buying from a breeder. So it is, I know it sounds like a lot, but when you add up what we're doing for the dogs, because we pay to transport them up from the shelters and to vet them, just to spay and neuter alone, $150, $200, plus vet visits, preventatives, dewormers, And that's saying that the dogs need nothing else, like they don't get an ear infection that has to go to the vet, or they don't have to, you know, have diarrhea that causes an extra vet visit. So their adoption fees alone don't even cover the normal vetting that is coming in.
Do you chip them or not?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Mhm.
Oh, that's
Every
awesome.
dog's
Yeah,
chipped.
that's great.
People are people, and some people think that they have to have a specific type of dog. I'm not sure this is a great valid question, but how do you change the mindset of people to say to them, look, we have lots of dogs available that might fit your bill, but some people are they want that little Pikachu or whatever so badly, they don't understand the value of rescue.
Absolutely.
What does an organization like you do to try to change that mindset?
So the best that we can do is try to educate as much as possible. So, like I said, we have a great social media following. Our Facebook, I think, has 70,000 followers. Our Instagram is up past 40,000. And the biggest thing is we always tell people, just come out to our events. We're somewhere every Saturday and Sunday, every weekend, except for a holiday. And we're everywhere. So when they come out to the events, they're able to meet tons of our dogs, and it's a mixed bag, puppies to adults to designer type breeds to mixed breeds, and all their fosters and volunteers are there. So they're able to talk to them and get an understanding and see the dogs. I know it's hard sometimes just looking at pictures online, but when you come out and you're actually able to interact with the dogs, it makes a big difference. So we always encourage everyone to come out to our weekend events. It's just open to the public. You don't have to fill in an app. You don't have to be looking to adopt. If you just want to come and hang out with the dogs and give them love, they love that. So they're always willing for that. So we never tell anyone not to come. There's no restrictions. You're welcome to, and our events usually are on our calendar a month to 2 months in advance on our website, so you always know where we are. And we go everywhere. We go from Philadelphia all the way up past Gilbertsville and in between. So we are generally everywhere. I think this weekend we're in Harleysville and then Lansdale this weekend.
You know, it's funny. I grew up. I always had purebreds as a kid, and as an adult, I have 2 rescues, 13 and 11. There's something about, I don't know if the rest, like, am I wrong to say that rescue kind of appreciates you more?
I mean,
In a sense, no, I mean, just there's just like there's like there's like a bond there. Like they appreciate, you know.
And rescue dogs also, I mean, they say that mixed breeds have a better health profile than.
Oh, I agree with that.
Purebreds.
Oh, yeah.
In general, even if they're bred correctly and well, tend to have more health issues.
My blonde lad had all these allergies. My 2 now
Yeah.
hardly have any health issues at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
What kind of situation?
I think you got a new friend there, Pat.
Buddy right here.
Exactly. That's kind of where we've gotten. We don't ask questions. They don't ask questions. They just release the dogs to us. And for us, at least we know we're getting them out of there and we're getting them the help they need. Because they also will take dogs to auction. Like right now, I have a 1.5-year-old Bernice as a foster who couldn't get pregnant. They just couldn't get her pregnant. That dog would absolutely go up for auction to someone else and probably worse. So we're fortunate that we've developed that relationship with them in enough that we can get and save dogs. I know you got so excited about that. Me too.